E for marketwizards.com and eminingwizard.com. Finding traders to use. Risk capital you can afford to lose. Here's the monthly chart that we've just been talking about. And we can see from this swing, election day, got the election day pop, and then after that it's been selling. We've come almost 200 points. That's a lot in this amount of time. And we can obviously see the importance of this 75 area just above us. Long's desperately trying to bust out of this cage and get back up here to that next box. And even if they got to the top of that box, which would be a 40 back, that would test, obviously, the last year's high. So this target up here, this box, has got to be the Long's objective, to try to bust out of this and then create higher highs and higher lows if they can. And then up here, obviously, into the core. Be very, very important. And can this be done? Yes, especially if they do it step by step and hold the pullbacks. That's the key. Don't let this drift back too far. And then do one of their patented moves where they gap up a couple of times in a row. And if that happens, then that will start to put the question mark in everybody's mind, is Santa Claus really on his way? So part of it has to do with the length of this move and even the short duration. I mean, this has been one heck of a month, really, for a couple of months for the short side. We had said 28.12 resistance. Showed you that other chart Y. So we've come from that high up here at 18. We've come almost 200 points, and we're deserving of a bounce. So stay two ways in your thinking right now, not just one. Okay, I've got the 3-minute chart on behind us. Armstrong had, I think, a few very good articles today that you may want to take a look at. These are some from the past. If you go and just type in cryptos, then you can go back in and see some of his ideas from the past. And if you read that, first of all, I think he's got a very good pulse, a feel on the market. But if you're one of those who is wondering about Bitcoin and cryptos, a lot of people talking about that. I am totally ignorant. Don't pretend to trade things in investment vehicles I have no knowledge of. And, why? It's hard enough to get one like E-mini. Now you're going to go to something you have no clue how it moves. But I would, if you have interest in that, I would read about that. 3-minute chart. Still holding that 62. May get a better opportunity for shorts lunchtime or later this afternoon. Spread out your trades today and try to get your 4 or 5 points. Don't be a pig. It's not hard. It's not an easy trade for the longs either after the overnight push. Shorts have to break the 62s and then IB low. Otherwise, it's still on the hook. A couple of really good articles on it, though, and this one particularly, read through this one. He talks about the ability of governments to have a negative interest rate. And that's one way that the central banks could start to grab everybody's money. In the hunt for tax revenues. So I found that pretty interesting and hadn't thought of it that way. So I do agree with his premise, which is that if we're going to have that take over, it's certainly going to be the governments themselves that make it work. And they're not going to let somebody else work it because they want to control the taxes and they want to be able to get their fair share just to prop up their ridiculous spending. So take a look at that if you have time, especially on a day like today if you're fairly quiet. Squeeze pivot seems to be right in here. Right? Said make sure you're paid by 62s, 63s. And it's a 3-minute chart. We still got the 5 that's going to kick into this. And I think we're building a high level base right now. They get one more high before the day's over. But very tedious because of the squeeze and holding. Said earlier today, if we break the 50s, let's think of 52 support. If we break the 52 to 48, anything goes. Still feel the same way. And the goal we said would be to have them try to bust that 72 and test 75. Above that, good fortune. So nothing really has changed, although it came out hot and now it's pulled back. This actually gave the shorts a little bit better pullback than we would normally get. But I think that's in proportion to the size of this swing. Yeah, I think so, Zeke. Shorts covering. Being forced to cover, really. So this would be the weekly premise. And this 17, remember we talked about 17 a quarter next support. We said let's use 25 support. That breaks then 17 a quarter next. And you can see the 36. Here's your 56 and a quarter that we talked about. You got to get back below this. Really couldn't get below that very well. Point maybe. So that's one of the things that, come on. So this box is the one we're in currently in the predictive range, the 75, 75, call it 76 if you want. And here's our middle pivot on this range. So for now, this is the support of the predictive model, 56 and a quarter and 75, 75 as our resistance. We get above that, then anything goes obviously into the next box. So for now, market is trying to retest this 72 zone. You can see how this is a break, right? It was a breakdown. So this is a retest. But normally you want to see retests convincingly rejected. So far that has not been done. We're just kind of range trading. But it's not like that's been abandoned. We keep bouncing back to test it. So you have to give the long some credibility right now. And obviously, at some point, we're going to run into resistance. The question is when and where. This high right there is the next resistance high. It'll be somewhere in that 82 to 85 area. One step at a time. So from our spreadsheet, we make that adjustment. You look here at your current column, 66 held, came backwards, but we couldn't come back any further. And we said, let's use 52 as our aggressive support. And if we take out this 66, then we have to go to the up column, okay? And then we're looking at our next potential targets based on that. And if we get back into the 56 and under, then we can start to read it again over here. And obviously you can read this all the way down. So you can just stay with this column and then look to your 32s. Look at your overnight low, right? So we've come, one heck of a way up back already. So you can use either of these right now, but you have to get back under the 66 to be able to read this column. So just easy to read this up column for now. And if it went the other way, you just read the other side. So overnight, if you're trading and you're looking at this, first things first, you have to use the original. This kick right here, when this thing screams up, this is just a rip your face off move if you're trading overnight, because everything has been short, and then all of a sudden, whoa, what happened there? So here's our flip right here. This is our controlling pivot right now. And that's how we make the adjustments for those that don't conform because we had a smaller range. You just recompute it. Say, okay, I'm going to manually do that. Very useful tool. That's a very interesting post. Charlie may be out of the game after the last 2 months. Anybody who is undisciplined the last couple of months is out of the game. It cracks me up when I see what I call public defenders. They're out there on Twitter and they're taunting the shorts or they're taunting the longs. And you'll never see any posts about what's support or what's resistance. Just some kind of a snarky comment about the bears. Let's see how you do. Wait till next year. Let's see how you do. Whatever. Come on. Don't be a one-way trader. This has been a very healthy correction, no matter what. We've needed this for a long time. And sarcastically, they pretend that, hey, you haven't heard us. Well, come on. 300 points. That's a lot. Come on. Day traders don't think that way. We totally think, what can we take out of the day? We want to know what the big boys are thinking. We want to know where resistance is, where they're likely to come in, and what they're likely to do. But so what are you going to do? You're going to wait for next year? Where is your support? Where is your resistance? Today, tomorrow, the next day? Take it one day at a time. It's a business. Treat it that way. Now, if I've got a high and I want to go back and I want to take this and have the average true range for today, those of you who've got the widget, go back as long as you got a high that's in place for now, then just go back and change your setup. And you can put this however you want it. I've got got the 50 and a quarter middle. So pretty much what we said when we first started. Let's think of 75 resistance. Let's think of 50 as support. And obviously, let's think of the middle is going to be that 62. Still got that idea. All we can do is create a range that we think is a tradable range and try to make the best of it. You'll do far better in this business than you will be just shouting on Twitter what you think and trying to fight these guys that, really probably have no clue of what they're talking about. They just like to, because Twitter's the Wild West. So I find there are probably a dozen or so people I like to see what they have to think. But like today, I haven't even been out there. I have no clue what's being said. I don't need to. Got my own work. Back to the middle again, same as before. Anybody coming into 63s to 62s, make sure you are paid. There's a high level consolidation for now. We can do some more backing and filling perhaps later. Very unconvincing push during RTH. This was a gotcha. So we could have some distribution going on here. I said I thought it'd be hard to get a plunge or a big move upside. Keeping 72 to 75 as our make sure you are paid zone, and we're using 78 stops for shorts. Anybody that's playing short side, we said first things first, got to get to that 62s, 64s. Below that, we're still in IB range. This is your RTH Angel. There's a 5-minute chart. We're still above the blue line and above the pink line. Very unconvincing push so far by the longs. Seems almost like it's distribution as opposed to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Said that could be the case. Don't know until later. Hitting bounces was our preferred way of playing. If you took a stop out earlier, first goal is get your capital back and try to make a little something. And goal of the day, we said, try to get your 4 or 5 points. Anybody that's coming into this 58s, the 56, we just showed that 56 idea. Okay, make sure you're paid. This is still going to be, if we cannot take out these lows, this is still a higher high and a higher low pattern. High level consolidation for now. If we take this out and we do come back and we test this 52 area, we said today all important was the longs trying to hold this 48 to 52. Put something in your pocket if you're short. Come on, don't squander it. Tough day. Coming into the rain line. Coming into the blue line. Paid for sure coming into this 58. Two-way day, we said, probably because of the length of the move. And so far, that's what we've got. Range type trading, two-way day. Stolen range. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've had a good morning, you've got your VIG. If you were choosy, we said first, give it a little time, let it set up. Don't be in a big rush. These are not easy trades, and the first thing you want to do is let the squeeze take hold. And don't buy into it, meaning don't believe that it's the real deal, going to go forever. But assume it's going to test some resistance that's fairly obvious or just above. And then you can chip away, and you can, anybody who bought, we said, don't guarantee this is going out of here. And the second retest failure has been the best trade, really. It's still a primary trade up for longs, but marginally so. So really got to think neutral. There's our fighting zone right there. And this will give me a true range based on the range if I adjust it. So rather than work off that 31 low, I'm working off 28.5. If you want the true range, it's one way to do it. And you can see how important that 55 is, this low zone from RTH. So that's your 40 back, here's your 50 back, and then 60 back down here where the half gap is. If you've got something out of the morning, congrats. Not an easy morning to trade, especially coming back cold after stuffing ourselves with turkey and pizza and whatever for the last few days. Pecan pie. And on top of that, it was my son-in-law's birthday yesterday. We had another birthday over the weekend too, so we've been partying till the cows came home. All right, I think we'll break there for the morning. Anybody that has come into that 58 zone, make sure you are paid. Market has made a higher high, higher low pattern. For now, 72 to 75 is our resistance. Stop zone 78 for shorts. And I think need to be paid by 58 to 55 for sure. Anything below that, I'm going to say is good fortune. And if we do break the IB low, maybe during lunch, maybe later, maybe not at all. But if we do, next target obviously is at 52 to 48 and below that, because that's the retest, right? And you've got this breakout right back in here. So this low is our key support right there. That specific bar is our support until broken. And you can see that overnight where the shorts have been trapped from this huge breakout. And a lot of traders are trying to wiggle out the shorts. That's part of today's challenge, why it's so hard today to expect a big plunge. And we're back into the rain line idea. Keep an eye on the green line today too, because this now needs to contain the bounces, and if not, then we can still keep on running. I'm going to think neutrally. All right, guys, we'll catch you in a little bit. Hope you had a good morning.